Have you seen the leaked video between former President Donald Trump and Robert Kennedy Jr. that came out yesterday? Well, I'd like to show that to you if you haven't seen it, and then I want to talk about it because it's quite interesting. Take a look at this.
And something's wrong with that whole system. Yeah. And, and it's the doctors you find. Remember I said I want to do small doses. Small doses. When you feed a baby, Bobby, a vaccination that has like 38 different vaccines, and it looks like it's meant for a horse, not a 10-pound or 20-pound baby. It looks like you should be giving a horse this. And do you ever see the size of it, right? It's this massive. And then you see the baby all of a sudden starting to change radically. I've seen it too many times. And then you hear that it doesn't have an impact, right? But you and I talked about that a long time ago. And anyway, I would love you to do so. And I think it'll be so good for you and so big for you. And we're going to win. We're going to win. We're way ahead of the guy. And, he's interesting. It was very nice, actually. He called me. And he said, how did you choose to move to the right? So I guess that's, people say, if I was looking straight on, right? He said, I said, I was just showing a chart. I didn't have to tell him the chart was on all the people pouring into our country, right? But, I just turned my head to show the chart. And something wrapped me. It felt like a giant, like the world's largest mosquito. And it was a bullet going right. What do they call that, an AR-15 or something? That was a big gun. Those are pretty tough guns, right?
Now that phone call was never meant to see the light of day as far as you or I are concerned. But I found it interesting, and given that it was leaked, and it seems, based on what we do know, that the former president may have been trying to reach out and build some sort of coalition with Robert Kennedy Jr., provided he wins the election. Now, I would not like to see Robert Kennedy Jr. as president of the United States. I do not believe that he is a bad man, but I don't agree with him on far too much. He would not get my vote. However, I do agree with him, and I like how he calls out Big Pharma and the medical establishment. I like how he calls out the FBI and the CIA. And given former President Trump's assassination attempt, which they did discuss a little bit, I think the former president would be right to go after all these three-letter unconstitutional agencies. If you want to drain the swamp, let's start by taking out all the agencies that don't belong in our government to begin with, because they have no constitutional authority. And so making, let's say, RFK a director of the FBI or CIA or a chief medical advisor to the Trump administration, I think that would be a very, very good step. Now, Kennedy said that he has no intent of dropping out of the race. And I do believe that he could possibly beat Trump if he was able to go head-to-head with the former president. But that will never happen. He challenges too much on both the Democratic and Republican sides. And he challenges the establishment. And so the establishment won't even allow him on the debate stage. I don't believe he has a chance against Joe Biden or President Trump for that reason. And it looks very, very good for President Trump. I think he would be wise to entertain the idea of putting RFK in some position within his administration, in particular those two positions that I mentioned to you, given those seem to be his strengths. I don't know if RFK would be willing to do that, but I find it to be interesting, and it's a good hypothetical. If he would do that, I would be supportive. But RFK was embarrassed by the phone call being leaked. He apologized to President Trump, I'm sure because he was trying to protect President Trump's privacy, given the fact that they did discuss the assassination attempt a little bit. That phone call was supposed to be a personal phone call that was never meant for our eyes. So I respect him as a man when it comes to that. However, I do think it's an interesting thing to entertain. And if Robert Kennedy Jr. were to see this, if Donald Trump does win the election, I would advise you, I think it would be good for the American people for you to entertain taking up a position in the Trump administration were he to win in November. Now, Robert Kennedy has no intent of dropping out of the election, so we'll have to see what happens when the time comes. But I think that's some interesting food for thought, and I just wanted to pass it on to you guys. Please be sure to like this video, share it, because I would like as many people as possible to see this. I think a lot of people would be able to support this because Robert Kennedy Jr., in spite of my disagreements with him, is not a bad man. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more content.